Yeah, today we'll be looking at introduction to DC power system, and we will be focusing on two standard voltage which is adopted in the telecommunication, and these voltages are plus 24 volts system and minus 48 volts DC system. These two systems are the standard in which they use to supply power to telecommunication equipment. If you're wondering why the sign in front of this system voltages, you see in the plus 24 voltage we have plus, and the minus 48 volts we have and minus. So if we'll go further to see, if we roll out two cables to supply power to the equipment, we have the positive and the negative, unlike the alternating current where we have the live, the neutral, and the earth. But here it is DC. So in DC we have polarity. In this, to explain, we have the positive and the negative. So if I ground the negative and I measure from here to here, it will give me a plus 24 volts DC, referencing to the positive, trying to say the positive is the live cable and the negative is the common, which is the ground. And that is why we have the positive sign in front of the plus 24 volt system. So trying to let you know that the positive is the live cable. If we move now to the minus 48 volt system, and we roll out two cables to supply power to the equipment, we have the positive grounded. We have the positive grounded, and we have the negative left. So the negative becomes the live cable, and the positive becomes the ground. For alternating current, it is called the neutral. So if we measure from here to this place, we have minus 48 volts DC, referencing to the negative sign, referencing to the negative cable, telling us that the negative cable is the live cable. And with this is a standard. These are the two standard voltages which the telecommunication equipment uses to power up their equipment. So if we go further to see, now we have a rectifier system, which is the power system. The rectifier system is the DC system. So I will be making references. I can be interchanging them. If I say a DC power system, I'm also referring to a rectifier. So here, now with this standard, we have two standard voltages, which is the plus 24 volts and the minus 48 volts. So if we go further to see how it is, we have this. We have this. This is the symbol for rectifier, and which trying to show you that it is taking an alternating current, which is the coil from, and the DC, and this is the DC point. So we supply AC coming from either the generator, AC, either coming from the generator, alternating currents, either coming from the generator or grid, and it will convert this AC to DC. So here, at this point, we will supply the live, the neutral, and also the earth protection for earthing. Also the earthing will supply to this rectifier. So this rectifier takes this alternating current and converts it to a direct current of either a plus 24 volts or a minus 48 volts, depending on the type of equipment we are supplying the power to. So these two standard voltages are used in telecommunication. So I'm going to be referencing to the first one, which is the plus 24 volts. Now, if we have this point here has the positive, and we also have this point here as the negative. So if we measure and I put this one on the ground, we will have a plus 24 volts DC. So we have a bus bar which is for distribution. We use the bus bar for distribution. And we have the positive. This the bus bar. And we roll out this positive cable to this point. And we roll out the negative cable to this point. So this point here becomes the live bar. Bus bar. And the negative becomes the common bus bar. So the common becomes the bus bar, which is the negative for the minus 48 volts. And this one is the positive, the live bar, for the plus 24 volts. Sorry to say, the plus 24 volts. And this one becomes the common, the negative becomes the common for the plus 24 volts system. So with this now, we can also make references also to the minus 48 volts. And if we make references to the minus 48 volts, then we will have to change the polarity. So we have to change the polarity now. Now if I make this, if I ground the positive here, I'm grounding the positive, and I'm leaving the negative. So which means the negative becomes the live bar, the live cable. So I take the negative and I put it here. And I take the positive and I put it here. So here becomes the positive and this place becomes the negative. So if we measure from the ground point to the live point, we have minus 48 volts DC at this point. So now we see the differences that in the plus 24 volts, we have the positive as the live cable, as a live bar. And in the minus 48 volts, we have the minus, the negative as the live. And this is the standard adopted in the telecommunication. So if we have this standard, we can now move on to the next phase of power in telecommunication. So now, just to buttress on this point, the plus, we have operating voltages, the range of the range of operating voltages for the plus 24 volts and the minus 48 volts system. So they have windows of operation. For the plus 24 volts system, for the plus 24 volts, this value is the nominal value. It's the nominal value. But it has a window. It has window of voltage, which is range of voltage, ranges